Good morning. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everybody to Ohio University Chillicothe in Ross County, the heart of the region that I'm fortunate enough to represent. It's an honor and privilege for me today to be standing before you for this very transformational announcement for Southeastern Ohio, for the Midwest, and truly for our nation. This announcement today is not just the start of more to come from our region. It's the start of a global leader in energy production in the state of Ohio. As President and CEO of Ohio Southeast Economic Development, we are tasked to implement, carry out a strategy that provides opportunities for businesses to start, businesses to grow, and businesses to thrive. As a result of our efforts working directly with businesses in our 25-county region, we help families create better lives for themselves and at the same time, build stronger communities. We're very fortunate today to be a part of this announcement and be involved with the company in their expansion plans in Pike County. This has been a company that our team has been engaged with for quite some time, along with the Jobs Ohio team, and we're happy to continue to support and foster that strong relationship with this company, a global leader in the energy space. It is now my pleasure to introduce Ohio's governor, 70th governor, Governor Mike DeWine. He's had a long and distinguished career in public service, focusing on protecting Ohio children and families. He's previously the 50th Attorney General of Ohio and has previously been elected to serve as the Greene County Prosecutor, Ohio State Senator, U.S. Congressman, Ohio's Lieutenant Governor, and United States Senator. Mark DeWine's true story, raised in Yellow Springs, Ohio, Mike and his wife Fran met in first grade and married when they were students at Miami University. They've been blessed with 8 children, 28 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. Family is the core to everything Mike DeWine does, and that's why he's devoted his life for fighting for Ohio families. Mike DeWine loves Ohio and cares passionately about our state's future. He will fight for Ohio and works for everyone, every person, every family, in every corner of our state. We appreciate what the DeWine Husted and DeWine Tressel administration has done and meant, and their commitment to the Ohio Southeast region. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Mr. Governor Mike DeWine.
Well, Matt, thank you. Thank you very, very much. As a graduate of Miami University, it's great to be on OU's campus. So, awesome. Go Bobcats. This is, to me, a very exciting day. We do a lot of announcements, and they're all important. But this one, I think, is particularly important, and this is a historic announcement. It gives a real indication of where we are going, where Pike County is going. Vitally important for Pike County, but it's also vitally important for the state of Ohio. This is an announcement today that marks really a major milestone in America's energy security. So it's about national defense. It's about national security. It's also about Ohio's future and Ohio's strength. So we're announcing today that Centrus is expanding in Pike County. They're going to create 299 new, well-paying jobs. These jobs will average $50 an hour. Construction jobs at its peak will be 1,000 construction jobs going on right there. I don't have to tell anybody here about Ohio's long history in the nuclear industry and Piketon's long history that goes back over 70 years. Community and people who helped us win the Cold War. I believe that Ohio must lead in the area of energy, and we intend to lead in this area. We are blessed with a great deal of natural gas. Gives us a great, frankly, competitive advantage. But what the future is about natural gas, but the future is also about nuclear. With our smaller nuclear facilities that we're going to see coming online in the future, vitally important. So Ohio wants to lead in the area of nuclear as well. And that's why, frankly, one of the reasons I'm so very, very excited about this announcement. Nuclear, of course, has the advantage of being reliable. It's always there. It also has the advantage of not a non-carbon producing energy. And again, that is the future. It's essential for our national security for the nuclear fuel be made right here in the United States. And so to have it made in Ohio for us is certainly just an added bonus. And it gets us very, very, very excited. I want to thank Centrus for their commitment to the state of Ohio, for their faith in Pike County, Piketon, their faith in all of us. This is truly a project that has great support from the county level, the state level, federal level. We are all on this team. Everybody has been working very, very closely together. The enriched uranium that will be made here will be purchased by power producers and utilities across the country to meet the needs of today's nuclear fleet and fuel also, though, the next generation of advanced nuclear reactors. These reactors, working alongside Ohio's abundant natural gas and renewable resources, will empower our industries, sustain our electric grid, support the daily lives of millions of Americans. And how exciting it is for all of us that this is occurring in southern Ohio in Pike County. In a moment, you're going to hear from Centrus President and CEO Amir Vexler. And I want to just personally thank him for his faith in the people of Ohio, the workers of Ohio, for his faith in Pike County and faith in us. We've worked very, very closely with him, and we're going to continue to do that. This is without getting into long predictions, I think people will look back on this day as a very historic day. I want to thank Senator Husted, who played a major role in this when he was Lieutenant Governor, continues to play a major role as United States Senator. Senator Marino, who I talked with yesterday, can't be here. I want to thank him. I also want to thank Congressman Taylor for his real commitment and his understanding of the importance of this. I also want to thank J.P. Nassif, the team at Jobs Ohio, Matt Abbott, Ohio Southeast, who does a great job representing that part of the state and seeing economic development here. The Ohio Chamber of Commerce, local officials who have stood shoulder to shoulder in support of this project. I think we've shown again what happens when Ohioans all pull together. The truth really is, we need energy independence as a country. Our allies need reliable partners. Our economy needs secure, reliable, and affordable power. Today, Ohio is stepping forward to lead. It is really my honor and privilege to introduce the President and CEO of Centrus, Amir Vexler, who will tell you more of the details. And we thank him for his faith in Ohio. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Governor DeWine. As introduced so graciously, my name is Amir Vexler, and I represent an important group of people to the United States of America. 5 years ago, the plant in Piketon has been slated for decommissioning, and it was pretty much a burial job at that point. The team between our plant in Piketon and Oak Ridge, Tennessee had done the unthinkable. With the support of the U.S. government at the time, the first Trump administration, they believed in our technology and they've invested, and we managed to prove the technology that we worked on, which is used for uranium enrichment. For those of you who are not familiar with uranium enrichment or the industry in general, 20% of our grid depends on nuclear power generation. There's about 94 nuclear reactors operating in the United States. Most of the enriched fuel for these reactors comes from outside of the United States. A lot of it comes from Russia, and last year a lot of it came from China as well. We really have lost the ability and lost the technology to produce here ourselves. And so my first shout out and gratitude is to the team that actually got us to a point where we are ready to commercialize. I'm here today to announce to you that we are going to be expanding the site, and we're going to be creating a lot of jobs, which I will get into in 1 minute. First, let me give you a little bit of history. The United States invented uranium enrichment. We dominated the market for decades, and the workers in Piketon, in fact, helped the United States win the Cold War and help power the civilian nuclear reactors that I was just talking about here in the United States. Since the Cold War ended decades ago, we as a country, we really pulled back from some of these investments. All of our competitors are owned by other countries. We're the only publicly traded, the only American technology, the only American-owned company out there in the market, and we were not really able for decades to compete with that. And so Ohio lost thousands of jobs while America lost a vital energy and national security capability. The fuel that we enrich not only powers the reactors here in the United States, it also is a key element for our national security. A lot of the naval fuel, naval reactors require that type of enrichment. Today we're writing a new chapter in history. We really are leading the effort to restore large-scale uranium enrichment capability that will meet our national needs. As I mentioned, in 2019, under the first Trump administration, Centrus has pioneered what is now called a high-assay, low-enriched uranium. That is uranium that is enriched to a higher, slightly higher level to be able to power advanced reactors. As Governor DeWine mentioned, there's huge expansion plans for nuclear in this country. There's huge expansion plans for nuclear around the world. A lot of that expansion is going to come from small modular reactors, and a lot of that expansion is going to come from advanced reactors. Those advanced reactors require a higher level enrichment. The only place in the Western world where that enrichment is currently produced is in our plant in Piketon, and it's produced at small quantities, but we're ready to scale that up. And so, with our centrifuge technology being proven and having an NRC license in hand and having critical customer contracts in place, we're now planning a large-scale expansion in Piketon. We plan to deploy additional centrifuges to increase our HALEU production to meet the needs of the Department of Energy and our commercial customers to support the next generation of reactors. HALEU is one thing, but we also are planning to become a large-scale producer of low-enriched uranium, or LEU. That is the enrichment that is presently required by almost all the operating reactors here in the U.S. and abroad. So we really are expanding to be able to meet the present needs and the future needs. We expect that this project will bring 1,300 jobs to Southern Ohio. That includes, as the governor mentioned, 1,000 construction jobs and 300 operating jobs at the Piketon plant, while retaining the 127 existing jobs that we currently employ at the plant. Now, the numbers that I'm mentioning are direct numbers. As everybody knows here, that when you have a project of this size, you have a ripple effect of other jobs that are being created, other contracts that we sign with local machine shops, local vendors, local companies, and overall for the United States, This is a great achievement. We're the only company in our field that has a fully 100% American supply chain. Our centrifuges are designed and manufactured in Tennessee, Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and obviously the enrichment takes place here in Piketon. We are proud to be partnering with Jobs Ohio and Ohio Southeast as we work to fill these positions. When you create a project this size, whether through constructions or most importantly through the operation of the plant, you require the best of the best, and you require the best skills that any community has to offer. And so we will rely heavily on our partners to make sure that the recruiting and retaining is done in a world-class manner with a world-class workforce. Now, it's no accident that we're making this announcement at the Ross County Employment Expo. And this is a community that is really ripe with the kind of talent that we're looking for. The jobs that I'm talking about really range anywhere from entry-level jobs to more senior roles, anything from security to technical operators, administrative personnel. I know we'll need a lot of trades like electricians. We'll need a lot of mechanical engineers, shift supervisors, maintenance workers, accountants, and more. The thing that you will notice about our company is no matter who you talk to in Centrus, we really are driven by our mission. Our employees fully understand and are motivated by the fact that the work that they do directly relates to maintaining our quality of life here in the United States, maintaining the security that we're enjoying here in the United States, and just the prosperity that we've enjoyed. I think it will be hard to have the prosperity that we all want to have without a safe and reliable nuclear power, and Centrus is part of enabling it through fueling it. The important and key element in what we're planning here is we always said that restoring America's enrichment capability at scale requires a public-private partnership, particularly since we're competing against foreign-owned and foreign enterprises that enjoy subsidies by their governments and trade protections from their own governments. So a partnership with the U.S. government is critically important to us. And this is really good news because last year both Republicans and Democrats in Congress authorized the Department of Energy to make a historic investment in the nuclear fuel supply here in the United States. I think there's wide recognition in Congress that we have been dependent on others for far too long, and really in a bipartisan matter, there's been sufficient and significant funds allocated to establish a fuel supply chain here in the United States. We're waiting for the results of some of these decisions, and they're expected to be made in the next few months. We, Centrus, we're competing for the funding, and the ultimate size and the scope of the expansion really would depend on the Department of Energy's decision. Large-scale expansion would represent a multi-billion-dollar private and public investment into Ohio. We are ready to do our part. Over the last year, we've raised more than $1.2 billion in capital, in private capital, to support this expansion. And we have secured more than $2 billion in contingent customer commitments from U.S. utilities and utilities abroad. In other words, when this project goes online and produces, not only we will be powering the commercial reactors here in the U.S. and be contributing to national security, but we also would be a net producer, a net exporter to other countries, which is important. While we envision several phases of expansion over the coming years, our current NRC license and facility could accommodate enough centrifuges to meet about 1/4 of U.S. needs and fully replace U.S. imports from Russia. And there's enough room to continue expanding that site, so we really are looking at it in a modular fashion. Why Piketon? Well, the case for us, as we compete for the funds, we have the only proven deployment-ready technology that is American-made and American-owned. We are very unique in that way. Our state-owned competitors are competing against us and asking for U.S. tax dollars to import centrifuges that would be exclusively manufactured in other countries in Europe. Centrus manufactures everything here in the United States, and we're the only company that does so. Finally, I would like to mention and recognize the fact that we could not have gotten this far without the support that we're getting at the federal level, at the state level. Obviously, my gratitude goes to Governor DeWine and the entire congressional delegation, part of which is represented here. I echo the governor's remarks about Senator Husted and Congressman Taylor, and the rest of the delegation have been really instrumental in supporting us. So we're very much looking forward to continue this relationship. And with the help and the strong partnership of Jobs Ohio and Ohio Southeast, we look forward to bringing uranium enrichment leadership back to the United States and bringing 1,300 jobs to Southern Ohio. With that, thank you. And I would like to call on Senator Husted.
Good morning. Governor, unlike you, I have been on the OU campus a lot recently with my daughter over in Athens playing golf for the Bobcats. So we're she's loving that life, but it's great to be here today. Amir, thank you for your investment and congratulations. This is an important day for you. It's an important day for the region in Ohio, but it's an important day for America as well. And I know, working in economic development most of my life off and on, that the facility in Piketon has had a lot of promises made over the years, and a lot of promises not kept. And it was great to see your efforts early on, 2019, to give it a shot, see if we could make this work. And your technology has proven to be successful. I know that it's been a pleasure to work with you and Congressman Joyce and my colleague Senator Moreno as we've tried to get the federal government to pay attention to what you're doing. And I know this is also great news for the community here, Piketon, Portsmouth, every place in Southern Ohio who will see the economic benefits of this new investment. I know, I can't remember what year it was. I think it might have been in 2021. When I was lieutenant governor, I went and did a tour. We did a tour of the facility. And afterwards, we did a dinner. And there was a dinner in the community where there was about 200 people from the Piketon area, Pike County. And I walked around and I asked them, I said, do you want to see this kind of investment? Should we try to get this going again? Should we enrich uranium at the plant? Is this something that you want? And I wanted to know what they thought. And they said, absolutely, because we know the value that this will have from an economic point of view for our community. And they sold me that we needed to get to work and try to do more here. But it's also great news for America, and I want to put this in context about why I think it's important for the federal government to lean in on this project. Anybody who's listened to me talk about this, you'll have heard me say this many times, but America needs to make things in America. Our supply chain needs to be American. For our economic and national security, we need to make the things on American soil with American companies that provide for the supplies, the manufacturing for our economic and national security. And the fuel-to-fuel nuclear reactors is incredibly important for that. It's essential to our economic and national security now and for the future. And I want to talk a little bit more about why I think this is important for America and for our allies around the globe. Let's look at the situation that we're in right now as a nation. Demand for electricity is rising. Demand for electricity is rising. Why? Because we're doing more made in America. And if you're going to run American factories, what do they need? Electricity. If you're going to make steel, you need electricity. If you're going to make heavy-duty manufacturing goods and the supply chain for all of it, you need access to affordable, reliable electricity. You have also the demand in the competition for AI. AI is the emerging technology of the century, and China wants to defeat America in our race for supremacy, and we need electricity to power the data centers that are going to do that. And if you want to do it with zero carbon, if you want to have zero carbon baseload energy that allows you to produce electricity 24/7, 365, you need nuclear, as evidenced by the non-solar day we're having right now. And another reason that we need to do this is because 60% of the uranium in the world is produced by Russia and China, that we and our European allies and our Asian allies depend on. They are making it. 25% of the enriched uranium used in America is produced in Russia. 38% of the uranium used in Europe is produced by Russia. They are using that to finance the war in Ukraine, and they are using that revenue to threaten our allies in Europe. This is essential for our economic and national security. We don't want America and our allies to be reliant on our adversaries for the very tools that we need to power our economy. It's essential that we make these kinds of investments, because every dollar we send to Russia is being used to perpetrate war around the world. I am very hopeful that through our work, I know Senator Moreno and I have been on the phone and talking with the Energy Secretary and Congressman, the whole delegation has been really supportive of what we are trying to do to get further investment from the Department of Energy in this site, which we believe will add even more momentum to this announcement today. And this is great for our nation, it's great for our national and economic security, but it's great for this community as well. And I am just excited that this has come to fruition, that these investments are being made, and we will together move forward with the America First agenda by investing in this facility, powering American industry, powering American jobs. And it's great that we could all come together today and celebrate the start of this moment. And I'll step aside and allow my colleague to come up. Congressman, come up and share your thoughts. I know you've been fighting for this for a long time, both in the private sector and the public sector, and so this is a fun day for you too.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you, Senator, and thank you, everybody, for being here. I have been working on this project for a while, but not as long as most of these people behind me. As you guys know, I'm new to politics as of January, but we were working on this even before Election Day, honestly. Congressman Winstrup was kind enough to take me on a tour of the facility, and like everybody else that goes to that facility, you see it and you realize what a wonderful opportunity is being squandered. So first, I want to thank the Centrus team and Amir for their dedication and commitment to making sure that does not continue. There's people, a lot of people for me to thank behind me. There's a lot of other people I see in the room that I've talked to along the way that deserve a lot of thanks too for this project and how it's going forward. The biggest, most of what needed to be said today has been said, so I'll be brief. But the biggest next piece, as we've talked about, is making sure that the federal government plays its role, because this is a national security issue. It's energy itself is a vital part of our economy. This area needs an opportunity like this, and as Amir said, this is the only American-owned uranium enrichment facility available, and it's right in the right place. It makes no sense to fund other outside interests before we fund ours. I'm fine with more, honestly, uranium enrichment, but this one has to be funded first. So there's a big piece of funding. We're waiting for a determination on that. We've pushed hard on that. I led a bipartisan letter from almost the entire Ohio delegation to the Secretary of Energy to make sure that we got full consideration for that funding, because Obviously, the private sector here is committed through Amir and the folks at Centrus. So we need to support that in every way we can, because it's so vital to the success not just of Ohio but the entire country. And honestly, as was stated by Senator Husted, we've got our allies relying on our enemies to power their nuclear needs, and that needs to change. It's an opportunity that's been squandered too long, and it's something we need to step on the gas now. And I think we are going to hear an announcement soon, although I don't have there's no secret announcement of the date of that funding award. The one exciting announcement a day. So I'm really proud to be here. I'm honored to be here, and I thank everybody for the hard work they've done to get to this day. And I look forward to helping with the work going forward to make sure we get to where we need to be. Thank you all. I want to introduce somebody who's part of a group that's done a ton of work for a very long time trying to make sure that this project gets where it needs to be, and they've done a great job all over the 2nd District with issues lately, and I appreciate their help so much. JP Nassif, thank you.
Appreciate that, Congressman. What an incredible day. I'm very grateful to be able to represent my outstanding colleagues at Jobs Ohio, many of them here today. We talk a lot about Team Ohio, and you heard the governor talk about it, and Senator Husted and our congressman. This really is a special story and a special day, and it is unique. A lot of people might have given up on Ohio outside of Ohio, but in Pike County, Ross County, with our leadership, we never gave up on ourselves, and it's great to be able to celebrate not only a mega project, and this is a mega project, and Ohio has been number 2 in the country for mega projects for the past 3 years in a row. This is part of broader momentum about the future. It's a part of broader momentum, and the winds of momentum are in the air, and it is early. We've taken our shots, and it's very clear this area has taken its shots, but you never gave up on yourselves. Our leadership has never given up on you. We have not given up. And you can see the fruits of that hope and that determination and that grit with this announcement. So, Amir, you obviously, and you know this, you're in an amazing community in an amazing state. We call ourselves Team Ohio, and it's not a catchphrase. It's because when things are rough, some people cut and run. Other people learn how to work together, lock arms, roll up the sleeves, and get it done. And that's what this team has done, and that's the community that Centrus is going to be ramping into. So we're very, very excited about that. $1.5 billion investment, 1,000 construction jobs at its peak, close to 300 new jobs in a very critical energy sector. And that's very important for Ohio as well. Again, history of being at the leading edge of the Industrial Revolution, suffered through globalization, and with reshoring and onshoring, we're leading in so many different ways, and not just in 1 or 2 areas of our state, but all over our state. And just like we have done in history, Ohio is stepping up when our country needs us to step up. Whether it's serving, whether it's powering the industrial base, and it's because we're agile, we innovate, and we deliver, and we don't give up. So, and these jobs are very conservatively reported. We did a recent analysis, Jobs Ohio did, on the projects that have been accomplished in Ohio. For every job that we announce, so we're announcing 299 new jobs. Amir is announcing that today. But for each one of those jobs, there's at least 1.3 additional jobs produced in supply chain, indirect, and induced jobs, restaurants, suppliers, auto dealerships, hospitals. Our education partners are going to play an amazing role here producing the workforce. And to do that, they're going to need to be agile. And they will be. Our role, working with our great partner at Ohio Southeast, is to make sure that we work together with Centrus to lay out their hiring plan and their skills plan. And our talent team does this on many of the projects we work on. And they're going to work with Centrus to make sure that Centrus has the workforce they need when they need it, because we know that the Ohioans in this part of the state have the grit, the work ethic, the agility, and the desire to work and produce and deliver. So we're very excited to be part of this project. We know this is part of a beginning of a bright future, not only for the state of Ohio, but for this area of Ohio. We're very, very grateful to be part of it. And again, thank you again, Amir. Congratulations on the announcement. And Governor, thank you for your leadership. Thank you.
Well, being late in the program, I asked, what do you want me to do? Get up there, everybody else is going to have all the specifics out there. And I said, well, if you don't do anything else, Jeff, just stand up there and look pretty. So this is me standing up here looking pretty. But seriously, this is a big day for Southern Ohio, our whole region. Approximately 18% of the folks that are employed on the Portsmouth site, Piketon site, if you will, live in Pike County. The rest of them migrate in from surrounding counties and indeed surrounding states from Kentucky and West Virginia. And these are secure jobs. They're secure because they are continuing jobs. Manufacturing the needed material we need for national security. We have a very specific trained workforce. They do it well, they do it safely, and they do it efficiently. This is a turning point for us because at this point we do have to rely on foreign entities. These are our adversaries. If you go online, you'll see that they cite North Korea, China, and Iran as the top producing countries in the world. And that's where we go for market, for our security, for our enriched uranium. So this gives us a domestic source. And seriously, that's what we need, folks, for national security. When you turn our people loose down there in Pike County and the surrounding areas to do this job, they do it well. We've done it for over 70 years, and we live with it. We always have. And so when people come in here from out of state, they say, you seem to accept nuclear energy pretty well. And I go, we do, because we've lived it. My family's in the 4th generation down there. So my family has a deep connection there. Provided, good jobs, security, and works out well for everyone. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin Shoemaker. I'm sure he's going to have some enlightening details.
Enlightening details. Let me just say, I know what most of you are thinking. What can Kevin Shoemaker possibly add to what's been said already? Don't feel badly that you're thinking that. Last night after I got my remarks together and I was getting in bed, Barb said, what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, well, I have to speak at this event. And she said, well, who's going to be there? And I said, well, the governor will be there, and Senator Husted will be there, and Congressman will be there, and the head of Centrus will be there. And she said to me, what in the world can you possibly say? And but I got past that. I got past it, and I went to bed, and then I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And the only thing I could think of was a story that I had heard a long time ago by someone who was a political writer. And the story was that he was flying on Air Force One with President Kennedy when they hit turbulence. And apparently the plane rocked, and there was concern that the plane might go down, and everybody was upset and worried. And once it passed, in came the president, and with a solemn look on his face, looked down at this individual and said, Mr. Saul, if this plane had gone down, do you know what the newspapers would have said tomorrow? And he said, no, Mr. President. And President Kennedy smiled and said, your name would have been in very small print. And I feel like looking at the group here today, the folks behind me and the folks out here in this audience, my name should be in very, very small print. There are a lot of people who have done so much work and done so many things to get to this point. And I know that Mayor Feeney and the commissioners here in Ross County are proud to have you here and to have everybody focused on southern Ohio. The other thing that happens at 4 o'clock in the morning when you wake up is that you have great thoughts. So I threw away all the remarks I had prepared, and I started thinking about the scene in the Great Seal of the state of Ohio. And if you look at the seal of the state of Ohio, you see the sun coming up over a range of hills. And if you look north from here, you'll see that very range of hills. The very range of hills in that scene. And you'll see the rays of sun coming from the sun as it rises in the east. But those are not just sunshine rays. Those are rays of hope. And what we're getting here today with this announcement are rays of hope for southern Ohio and for this entire area. And those rays of hope will shine brighter today because of all the work that's been done and because of this announcement. And it will shine brightly not only for southern Ohio, but for the entire state of Ohio and the entire nation. We should be thankful to all of the folks that have worked on these projects. And if you can say thank you to the people that are beside you, you should do that. This has been a fabulous, fabulous operation. It has taken years. My sons and daughters remind me when I tell them about some of the things that I've worked on down at the plant site, they say, that was back in the 1900s. And that's true, but late 1900s. But it's important that we recognize all of the hard work. And I just want to say something about Jobs Ohio and about Ohio SE. They have worked with us. They're working with us on the pixel closing here, but they've worked with us at Piketon. They've worked with us all over the region and done some amazing things to try to help us. And with the leadership that's sitting here behind me and those folks, we have the brightest of futures. So when that sun comes up over that range of hills, we'll know there'll be jobs for people so that they can take care of their families and take care of their children. And people can start traveling from Columbus and Cincinnati to Piketon instead of, going the other way for some jobs. But one thing I do want to finish with, and this is so that the Centrus folks know that they picked the right place by picking southern Ohio. When my dad was running for lieutenant governor, this has been over 40 years ago, he told the staff in the campaign that he needed to be home to go to church at the little church out in Bourneville beside our house every Sunday morning. And they tried to explain to him, Ohio is a big state. That's going to be really hard, Merle. We can't make sure you're going to be home every Sunday. He said, no, I have to be home every Sunday. So they finally decided that they should talk to Dick Celeste and say to the gubernatorial candidate, can you explain this to Merle? So the story goes that Dick Celeste took Dad into a room and said, Merle, you're a religious guy. Don't you think that God is everywhere on Sunday morning? And he goes to all these churches? And Dad said, absolutely. He just comes to southern Ohio first. So with that, I want to welcome Centrus to southern Ohio and say how proud we are to have the new jobs and have this company coming, and we'll do everything we can to support them. Thank you very much.
Just when you think things were about to go off the rails, Kevin, great remarks. We'd like to thank Centrus and Amir and his team. We'd like to thank Matt Snyder, who has been the operations plant manager in Piketon for some time, that we will continue to partner with in your efforts. Thank to our state and federal partners, our Jobs Ohio partners that are here today, Governor DeWine, Lieutenant Governor Tressel, Senator Husted, Congressman Taylor, Jobs Ohio President J.P. Nassif, members of the state legislature that have joined us, county commissioners. I'd like to thank our team at Ohio Southeast, specifically Kara Willis and Gloria Blave. They've been involved in this project for quite some time. We have some other project people that have been involved in this project, so thank you. You guys have made this happen. I'd also like to thank Matt Sobalski, Sector Director for Energy at Jobs Ohio, which has been instrumental. Your partnership has propelled this project forward, and as a result, you will positively impact lives in Southeast Ohio, and we thank you. A lot of time and effort has gone into this site, the redevelopment of this site, to the port's site development endeavor. This would not be possible without those folks at SODI and the expertise of the Voinovich School at Ohio University that had done some studies early on in this. Also, the Pike County Commissioners, thank you for your leadership and your partnership, and Gary, Local Economic Development Director in Pike County, we thank you. At this time, it has stopped raining, so we can dismiss our guests to the reception tent, which is located directly behind you. We invite you to stick around and have conversation with the folks here that have made the trip. And thanks, everyone, for coming. And it's a very exciting announcement. It's an exciting day for Southeast Ohio, for Ohio Southeast, the state of Ohio, and it's an exciting day for our country. So thank you.